Good morning, students. Today I am going to give you a brief introduction about the respiratory system, which is the last chapter of your syllabus. And so we will see the different aspects of respiratory system. As all of you are aware, respiratory system, it is an organ system and which is responsible for the respiration in human beings. So first of all, we will see what is respiration. So respiration is the process in which there is breakdown of food to release ATP molecules with the release of energy by the help of oxygen intake. So there are two processes, one is breathing and one is respiration. So breathing means only intake of oxygen and release of CO2. But in case of respiration, simply if that particular oxygen is used for the breakdown of food, whatever you have eaten, to produce the ATP, then it is known as respiration. Now, directly we will come to two types of respiration, that is of two types, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. All of you are aware that aerobic respiration involves oxygen intake, involves the use of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration does not involve the use of oxygen. Now we will see the types of the process of respiration. Simply types already I have heard, aerobic and anaerobic. Now coming on to the process of respiration, where what will happen in process of respiration, there is external respiration, then you have internal respiration, and at the same time there is transport of gases. So in case of external respiration, simply that is breathing. External respiration is breathing. Oxygen you will take and CO2 will be expelled out, that is external respiration. Second is your transport of gases, means the gases whatever you have taken, oxygen which are there in the alveolus of the lungs, that are being transported to each and every cell, and in the cell there is mitochondria, the powerhouse, and also there is cytoplasm. So these two these two cell organelles, they combine to form different type of chemical process and reactions, and they result in the ATP formation. And the third thing is internal or cellular respiration. This is the same thing, whatever I have told. The gases whatever is being taken with the help of hemoglobin, it is transferred to the cell, and the cell is doing the respiration to release the energy. So this is the process of respiration. So now coming on to the respiratory organ. So if we will talk about the respiratory organ, different type of organism, starting from the lower organism to the higher organism, they are having different types of respiratory organs. So if we will talk like integuments, that is the outer surface in case of the body surface, there you can see annelids. Then you have fishes, amphibians, that is the integument portion. Then next you have the gills in the nares fishes. You can see the gills are there, that is responsible for the respiration. Then you have an trachea in insects, and then you have swim bladder in case of some special fish, that is the teleost fishes. There is swim bladder. Next you are having alimentary mucosa, means that is the outer lining of the epidermis, and also the alimentary canal inside. From inside it will be view, that is in case of fishes, just like the Plecostomus and Ancestors. Examples are given. And in all the tetrapod means those who are having 4 legs. Tetra means 4 and pod means legs. They all are having the lungs. Okay, so these lungs, so these tetrapods, we are also among the tetrapods, but we have been evolved to human beings, where what has happened, our 4 limbs, they are modified into hand, and our hind limbs are modified into legs. But in case of the lower organism, means lower to human, you will see that they are still walking on the 4 legs. Okay, so these are some of the respiratory organs. Now coming on to the types, aerobic, anaerobic, already I have told you. Now coming on to the differences between the two, which is very important. So in case of aerobic respiration, first difference already I have told you, oxygen intake, oxygen will be responsible, here no oxygen is responsible. Next, coming on to the fast or slow process. So anaerobic respiration is fast, aerobic respiration is slow. Third thing is, it totally anaerobic respiration takes place in cytoplasm. Okay, but aerobic respiration involves the use of cytoplasm as well as the mitochondria. Another thing is, here you will see only you will have glycolysis. Whatever you have studied in the nutrition chapter or whatever it was there, I think you have studied glycolysis process, and here you have fermentation. These two will take place in anaerobic respiration. But here in case of aerobic respiration, you will have Krebs cycle, you will have glycolysis also, you will have electron transport chain also. These all things are discussed already in the previous chapters. So I will not go into the detail of all that things. So here this is the difference. Only in anaerobic respiration glycolysis and fermentation will take place, but here all the different types of process will take place. Coming on to the energy. Here you will have 38 ATP. This is the output of energy, 38 ATP, but here only you will get 2 ATP. Okay. Now coming on to the kilocalories, if you will talk, here you have 673 kilocalories. Okay, and here you are already aware it is 27 kilocalorie approx. This is an approximation. Okay, so see the huge amount of huge difference in the energy. The ATP whatever is produced, there is also a huge gap, that is only 2 here, but here it is 38, means 36 ATP difference is there. And coming on to the kilocalories also, here 673 and here it is 27 only. It means approximately it means 6 and 600 something 46 or 50 kilocalories difference is there. So you can easily make out the difference. Here in anaerobic respiration, process of combustion is incomplete. Here you will have complete combustion will take place of the food. Okay. Then you will see aerobic respiration. It is a long process. Already I have told you so many processes are there, but here it is short process, anaerobic respiration. Okay. Plants and animals undergoes aerobic respiration in normal case, that is in eukaryotes. But in case of prokaryotes, if we will speak, that is anaerobic respiration. Okay, these are some of the differences. Final product in case of anaerobic respiration, you can see already it is discussed that it can be lactic acid also, and in case of yeast, you can have ethyl alcohol also. At the same time, you will have some release of CO2. Here you will have aerobic respiration, carbon dioxide, water, and at the same time energy. So these three are the end products. So this is all about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now if you will come to the respiratory system in human beings, so all of you are knowing about the respiratory system. Here you have the nasal passage, after that you have trachea, lungs, then you have alveolus, pharynx, larynx, left lung, right lung, like this. So many parts are there in the respiratory system, which is responsible for the exchange of gases in human beings. So the main organ of respiratory system is lungs. As all of you are knowing that the lungs are residing in the thoracic cavity. Okay, in the thoracic cavity, which is guarded by the ribs. The ribs, whatever is present in the body, that is responsible for protecting your lungs. Okay. Now coming on to the parts, whatever is being included. Nostrils. The first and foremost thing is your nostril. Nostril are the slits. These are the openings which are going inside, that opens into the nasal chambers. Suppose this is your nose. Yes. This is the slit of the nose. Here. That which opens into the nasal chamber. These are called nostrils. Two nostrils are there. Okay, then coming on to the nasal chamber, these nostrils open into the nasal chamber. So in nasal chamber you are having different types of region. So first region is your vestibule. So vestibule is anterior most part, it is the outermost part which is bearing the hair and pile glands. these filter out the large dust particles. Next you are having the respiratory region. So in respiratory region you will see that these are divided into different parts of the nasal turbinates. So nasal turbinates are the portion which is responsible for making the air humid, means it is providing a surface area also. Okay, it is the nasal turbinates. The nasal turbinates are responsible for providing the parts humidity. Okay, it makes the air humid also. So now these are the three parts. You can see it is written ethmoturbinate, nasal turbinate, nasoturbinate and maxilloturbinate. So these three types of turbinates are there in the body. These are responsible for increasing surface area and it is helping in the removal of dust particle, larger dust particle, and air becomes humidified here. Next is your olfactory chamber. Third part of your nasal chamber, that is your olfactory chamber. Last part, this is the last part, it is lined by the olfactory epithelium or cnidarian membrane. This is the membrane, and you can see the region opens posteriorly into the nasopharynx. So this region of the olfactory chamber, here the olfactory chamber, this region opens into the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is the part where from the posterior side it will be opening into the pharynx portion. Through the glottis, the pharynx leads into the windpipe. So there is epiglottis and then after that you have glottis. In that case, the glottis is responsible for connecting into this olfactory chamber into the windpipe. Now if you will talk about the windpipe, you have the larynx, you have the trachea. Okay. So larynx leads to, larynx is the part or the voice box, you already are knowing larynx, and then you are having your trachea. So see, the windpipe is distinguished in box-like structure and it opens into larynx, that is your voice box, and a long thin air, that is your trachea. Our neck belongs to the, along with the esophagus, that is making one part. Okay, coming on to the larynx, it has a prominent elevation. Afterwards we will see Adam's apple that is formed. The wall of the larynx is composed of several cartilages are there. The cartilages are thyroid, cricoid, epiglottis. They all are singly arranged. But if you will talk about another thing, arytenoid, corniculates, cuneiforms, they all are paired. So these paired and unpaired structures, they form the laryngeal parts. Next, coming on to the trachea. So trachea's length is 11 cm long and 25 cm it is broad. The wall of the trachea, it is a semi-transparent and it is composed of your four types of layers, that is your mucosa, submucosa, and then fibrocartilage layer and adventitia. These are the different types of tissues which is lining the tracheal membrane so that the trachea that does not collapse. So trachea's function already you are knowing that it is responsible for it is protecting your lungs from being collapsing. So that has to be protected. So the trachea is composed of four different types of membranes, and these all four different types of muscular membranes, they are helping the trachea to maintain its size, and at the same time it is preventing the trachea from being collapsed. So now I have discussed till here. The next part of the system, respiratory system, it will be discussed in the next video. Okay, thank you.